Hi, this is All the science podcast that describes an interesting aspect of science in 5 minutes or less. I'm the student and I'm guest podcaster for this episode. And the name of my podcast is Holography. So, what is hologram? Hologram are a bit like photographs that never die. The sort of photographic ghost, they look like three-dimensional photos that have somehow got trapped inside glass, plastic or metal. When you tilt a credit card hologram, you see an image of something like a bird moving inside the card. How does it get there? What makes it seem to move? What makes it different from any ordinary photograph? Suppose you want to take a photograph of an apple. You hold a camera in front of it and when you press the shutter button to take your picture, the camera lens opens briefly and lets light through to hit the film. In an old-fashioned camera, or the light-sensitive image sensor chip, the CCD or CMOS chip is digital camera. All the light traveling from the apple comes from a single direction and enters a single lens, so the camera can record only a two-dimensional pattern of light, dark, and color. If you look at an apple, something different happens. Light reflects off the surface of the apple into your two eyes, and your brain merges two pictures into a single stereoscopic three-dimensional image. If you move your head slightly, the rays of light reflected off the apple have to travel along slightly different paths to meet your eyes, and part of the apple may now look lighter or darker or a different color. Your brain instantly recalculates everything and you see a slightly different picture. This is why your eyes see a three-dimensional image. A hologram is a cross between what happens when you take a photograph and what happens when you look at something for real. Like a photographer, a hologram is a permanent record of the light reflected off an object. But a hologram also looks real and three-dimensional and move as you look around it. It's just like a real object that happens because of the unique way in which holograms are made. Let's take a small break and after that we're gonna talk about how holograms work. Laser light is much purer than the ordinary light in a flashlight beam. In a flashlight beam, all the light waves are random and jumbled up. Light's flashlight beam runs along any old how, like school children racing down a corridor when the ball goes for home time. But in the laser, the light waves are coherent. They all travel precisely in step like soldiers marching on parade. When a laser beam is split up to make hologram, the light waves in the two parts of the beam are traveling in identical ways. When they recombine in the photographic plate, the object beam has traveled via a slightly different path and its light ray have been disturbed by reflecting off the outer surface of the object. Since the beams were originally joined together and perfectly in step, recombining the beams shows how the light rays in the object beam have been changed compared to the reference beam. In other words, by joining the two beams back together and comparing them, you can see how the object changed light rays falling onto it. And that's simply another way of saying what the object looks like. The information is burned permanently into the photographic plate by the laser beam, so a hologram is effectively a permanent record of what something looks like seen from any angle. Now this is the clever part. Every point in a hologram catches light waves that travel from every point in the object. That means wherever you look at a hologram, you see exactly how light would have arrived at that point if you had been looking at the real object. So as you move your head around, the holographic image appears to change just as the image of real object changes. And that's why hologram appears to be three-dimensional. Also, And this is really neat. If you break a hologram into tiny pieces, you can still see the entire object in any of the pieces. Smash a glass hologram of a cup into bits, and you can still see the entire cup in any of the bits. You can see demonstrations in the great videos cutting up the hologram, and hyperphysics has more detailed explanation of exactly what we mean when we say a piece of hologram contains the whole object, right? Let's talk now about the use of it. Holograms are also used to help test different materials used in construction. This lets them see how well something will hold so much weight without actually having to build the object out of the real material. Even barcodes on items such as food and home appliances are also holograms used to make sure nothing gets stolen. It is also used in medical field. They are also used in a medical record for procedures such as CAT scan to provide a detailed layout of patient. Thanks for listening to All the Science. Contact us at allthisscience@gmail.com if you had like